Ma'am, can I start?
Yes, Mansi.
Good afternoon to everyone. I am Miss Mansi Bora from BIT and I welcome everyone. Today, we have Mr. Sagar Boraste sir among us, who is an alumni of our department from the 2015 batch. He is basically a BI engineer at DX Shipra Technology, Pune, and has a 5 years of experience. He is going to conduct a session on Power BI tool. So I would like sir to please continue with the further session. Thank you.
Hello all, am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
you're audible.
Okay. So first of all, I just want to thanks our HOD sir for giving this an opportunity to give an expert talk session on business intelligence. So let me introduce first of all my name is Sagar and I am the alumni of IT department of NDMAP College. Since I passed out from 2015, I'm working in the field of data analytics and business intelligence. So in my whole career, I have an experience of all the business intelligence reporting application from development side, administration side, and consulting side, and in plenty of domains like hospitality, research and development, pharmaceutical, retail, and e-commerce. So basically, what business intelligence is the term or a department which every organization follows and implements to transform their data into meaningful insights for decision making. So basically, business intelligence is implemented just for collecting the data from multiple different data sources like Excel, SQL Server, Oracle, Hadoop, all the data sources which are available in the market. And on the basis of that data sources, we develop the reports, we build the dashboards, we do our custom calculations, logic implementations, and we deploy those reports on the servers so that all the senior authority of the organizations like CEO, CFO, all the management teams, they can view our reports and they can take effectful decisions which helps their management to grow and to take the business decisions as well. So for implementing this all strategy, we have different reporting applications like Tableau, ClickView, ClickSense, and recently in 2014, we have Power BI as an application as well in the market. So basically, this all the applications are the competitors of the SAP, which you might be heard in the previous history, we can say, like in 1990s until 2010. So all the applications like SAP, IBM Cognos, they have been replacing in the market from last 15 years with all these new technologies, which are hot skills in the market. So we have Tableau as well, ClickView, Click. We have two products again, ClickView and ClickSense, and then we have Power BI. So basically, all this application stands in self-service analytics, and the previously the organizations which were using was an enterprise applications. Basically, the licensing cost was too high for those applications, so the mid-scale and small-scale businesses, they were unable to offer the large cost of these applications. And due to that, we have all these new analytical tools in the market. So first is our Tableau, which has been launched in 2004 and starting the projects in 2010. So Tableau is again a self-service analytic tools which has the great capabilities of visualizations. We can draw any kind of visualization and we can take the data from any of the available sources which are available in the market as well as flat files. Then we have Click. Click is also a self-service analytic tools, but Click has their two products. One is ClickView and another is ClickSense. ClickView is again an enterprise application and ClickSense is nothing but an again self-service analytics. The term self-service stands for you can install this application anywhere in the system, and you can start developing the report by connecting to any of the data source which is available at any location. Then we have Power BI. Power BI is almost similar to Tableau. We have the same capabilities which Tableau offers in Power BI, but as it's a Microsoft tool, so we have huge number of projects coming into Microsoft Power BI. Company wise, Tableau was developed by Tableau company, which was from US based company, and now Tableau is taken over by Salesforce in the last year. Click is from ClickTech company, which is again a US based company, and Power BI is an application which was developed by Microsoft. So for server management, we have servers like on-premise and cloud both. For Click as well, we have server and on-premise both the offerings. And for Power BI as well, we have on-premise plus cloud, both the offerings. The difference between on-premise and cloud is nothing but on-premise is nothing but we can install the applications in our environment like our laptop, but that will be managed by our infrastructure team. Cloud is nothing but the company will take care of all the installations and configurations. We just have to use that. Same like Gmail. Gmail is offered by Google, but we can use it on the same common link, and we can use our different credentials like username and password and access the accounts. The products, like all these technologies have their different flavors, like the products or components we can say. So now for developing your applications in the Tableau, we have different tools again provided by the Tableau for implementing one single project. We have Tableau Desktop, Tableau Server, and Tableau Online. Again, for a Click, we have ClickSense Desktop and ClickSense Management Server. And for Power BI, we have Power BI Desktop, Power BI Report Server, and Power BI Service. So all these are the applications which we are going to use in the which we use in the organizations to develop any single project. Same like you might be heard about Java. So we have NetBeans, different kind of frameworks. So similarly, we have different flavors of each and every application. Compared with licensing, Tableau is quite expensive than all others in the market. Licensing cost of Tableau is $70 per user per month, apart from maintenance cost. Then we have Click. Click ranges from $30 to $70, but there are different scalabilities from which the price range may vary, but it starts initially from $30 and up to $70. Power BI is very cheap. It is only for $10 per user per month. And that is the main reason why people started using Power BI in the market right now. So these are the differences between all these applications. Then we follow an architecture which is helpful from your side because we implement the same kind of scenario in the organizations as well. So I'll just try to explain it in the basic. So from Power BI, we have different kind of applications. One is our Power BI Desktop and one is Power BI Server. Power BI Desktop is generally for development purpose and it is used by developers. No end users will have access to this application. This will be installed in our system and we will start our development into this environment. Then for deployment purpose, we use Power BI Server, and for cloud, we have separate environment that is Power BI Online. The architecture which we see in the screen is related to like whenever we start using Power BI Desktop, first thing is to load the data from the database. So database are called as data sources in the BI term, like from which data source pull the data. So like we have all the databases which are available in the market. We have flat connectors available in the Power BI. If you want to load the data from the flat files like Excel, Notepad, PDF files, JSON files, all the files, you can load that as well. If you want to access your data from the relational database systems like SQL Server, Oracle, Hadoop, or any of the sources like Amazon Redshift. And apart from that, we can also load the data from the web pages as well. So to load the data from databases to these applications, we use generally the connectors between them. So basically in the programming languages like PHP, Java, we use backend to front-end connections and we develop the connection strings to load the data from our forms directly into the database. Similarly, we use connectors. Connector is nothing but the pipeline between the database and the system. Once we load our data, we do generally data modeling because the data which is coming from the data servers will be in quite huge amount. So we build the data model, we do transformations. So initial stage when we load the data in the Power BI is the data preparation because the data will be raw data. If you want to do any transformations in between, you can do that as well. Apart from data modeling, you can do the report development, that is developing your dashboards. So we have different kind of visualizations like bar graph, line graph, donut graph, waterfall, lollipop, all these kind of visualizations which are available in the Power BI Desktop. Apart from that, if you want to use any custom visualization which is not available in the application, they have their own marketplace. Like similarly in the Android applications, if you want to download any application, we go for Play Store and download the application from there and use it on our mobile system. Similarly, for the Power BI Desktop, if you want to use any graphs which are not available in the system, Microsoft has their own marketplace. You can download from there. After the development of each and every report, like say suppose now your reports are ready and if you want to send it to the clients, we have the Power BI report server. Then we have to configure our report server with this Power BI application and then only we can deploy our reports from this Power BI Desktop to Power BI servers. Then all the reports which you develop, you can publish them in the bulk, and you can publish them one by one as well. Once you publish the reports, all the reports which you see in the development environment, they will be visible on the cloud servers or on-premise servers. And there you can add the users, like which users are going to access that report. So we will see the practical demonstration of whole this architecture. So I have Power BI Desktop installed in my system. I have a database which is like good one. If you want, you can practice on this dataset. That is sample superstore dataset, which is for sales domain. So when you open Power BI, this will be the first screen when you open the application. The first thing is to load the data. So for loading the data, we generally have the option of get data. Click on that. Then you have all the list of connectors. Like if you want to connect from the files, you can select the section of files and you can select the files from which you want to pull the data. If you want to select the database, you can select the database section and all the databases which are available in the market. You have the file connectors of that. Then the Power Platform, which is only for Power BI. We have Azure, that is a cloud environment. We can store the data in the Azure SQL database on the cloud. So all the connectors related to Azure are placed in the Azure section. And next one is your online services. These are all the applications which are offered by Microsoft. You can pull the data from these sources as well. And other section, other is nothing but for web pages, SharePoint like same like our Gmail, ODBC connections, all these connectors we have in the application. Now say suppose I want to pull the data from the Excel sheet. So you just have to go in the file section and select the Excel connector, say connect. Once you click on the connect, it will ask for the location where the Excel sheet is placed. Just locate the path from where you want to load that Excel. Click on the desktop. Say suppose I have my Excel sheet present in this folder and I select the database. Either you can double click on the file or just click on open. Once the connection is successful between your database and the Power BI, it will just throw the preview between your data source. Preview is nothing but like what are the tables which are available in your data source. It will list all the tables over here. And if you want to see the data before loading into the application, you can select the table and you can see what data is present in my data source. It will just give you the short preview of each and every table. Now say suppose from all these tables, if you want to load orders table, select that table and just say load. Once you load the data, all the fields which are available in that database will be highlighted in the right hand side field section. So in this field section, you will get the list of tables. Now I have already loaded only orders table. So if you open the database, we have 3 tables like orders, peoples and returns. Orders, peoples and returns. I've just loaded orders tables. So all these fields like row ID, order date, region, country, state, city, all these fields will get loaded in the right hand side section. So now for building any of the report, we should have the fields mandatory in our system. Without data source, we cannot build any report in the Power BI. Yes, we can create the tables in the Power BI, but we cannot create database in the Power BI because Power BI is not a database. It is an application to do the development of reporting only. Now say suppose if you have loaded the data, if you want to apply any transformations in between before developing any report, we have a section called edit query. Click on that and say edit queries. Again, a new window will open. Here we can apply the data transformations. Like say suppose if you want to replace any value or if you want to say rename the columns, like instead of row ID, I want to say row number. For order ID, instead of say order ID, I want to say order number. For the data types, we can select the data types. Like say suppose now I have 100 columns in my database, but I just want 10 columns from 100 columns to develop the report. You can select choose column section and you can choose the columns like from database. I don't want row number column. I don't want ship date column. Even the customer ID I don't want. Country I don't want. Product ID I don't want. So you can select and deselect these fields. Now say suppose if I want to load only these fields, just say okay. automatically all the fields apart from this will get excluded. And whatever the changes you are doing in this transformation stage, Power BI captures each and everything. Like say suppose in the word, what we do generally, we type anything like say suppose business intelligence. Let us say suppose if I came and rename this to business intelligence tool, but the history isn't present in this thing. So what we do generally, we do Control Z for undo, and it will give us original. But Power BI captures each and everything what you do on this. Now say suppose I have removed the column. So in the applied section, you will see what the transformations you have done. So if I click on this setting, it will say you have selected this column and you have deselected this column. Say suppose if I delete any column, like
Sorry, bata. Misinterpretation.
any doubt from your side? Hello. Does any of you have any doubt? Okay. So this applied step section is very important when we do any changes at the data stage level. If you delete any column, it will again capture that step. Similarly, we choose column, we can choose rows as well. Like say suppose if I have 1 lakh rows and I want to keep only 50,000 rows, we can remove the rows and we can keep the rows as well. If you want to add any custom columns, you can do that as well. Like if you want to do any conditional columns. Custom or conditional columns are like say suppose now if you have name and marks in your database, like I have student as well. I have the list of 5 students who has marks like 65, 78, 90, 35, 45. And say suppose now in my database I have only 2 columns, but if I want to add a custom column, say as result. In the result column, I want 2 fields like pass and failed. The condition will be like, say suppose if the marks of the students are greater than or equal to 50, then that student will be pass, otherwise it is fail. So we have to write this condition in the Power BI. We have conditional column section and we can pass the rules. Now say suppose if I want to create the name of the column as result. So we don't have marks column. So I will say sales column. If my sales is greater than or equal to 2000, then good sales, else bad sales. So generally we do this in programming languages, if else loop, nested loops. Say okay, Power BI will create the two to create a new column with good sale and bad sales. And again it will create an applied step condition and you can check what rule have you have been implemented on that column. So that is for additional column. Then we can split the columns if you want to do capitalization, like say suppose uppercase letters, lowercase letters. We have furniture column. If I want this column in the lowercase letters, I'll say right click, transform to lowercase. Again say suppose transform to uppercase, capitalize. So all these basic transformations we generally have at the Power Query level in the Power BI. There is no need to write any code or any statistical functions for this kind of transformations. Once you apply all these changes, what you want to do is just say click, close and apply. And now again it will pass you to Power View level. So basically in the Power BI from the developer point of view, we have 3 stages. What is our Power Query? In which we can load the data and do modifications in the data. Next we have Power Pivot, establish the relationships between different tables. And then we have Power View. Power View is nothing but your report development. Actually, Power Query is for data preparation, like we have seen some of the examples. Power Pivot is generally for data modeling. establish the joins like inner join, left join, right join, full joins. Now this screen is for Power View. Now say suppose if I want to build a dashboard. So before building the dashboard, you should be familiar with the data. On which data you are going to develop the report. You should know what types of columns we have in the database, what type of data we have, what are the data types of the data. You should know all those things and then only you can develop the reports. Otherwise, like say suppose now if you load this data and you will click anywhere and you will build the report, but that will be no meaning for developing this kind of visualizations. Basically in the real-time organizations, we have requirement gathering section. In that we have to understand the requirements from the client and then we have to develop the reports according to their requirement. Now say suppose I'm going to build a dashboard for sales overview analysis. So first thing will be the header of it. For header, we just have to use text box section. I've used the text box and you can pass what the header you want for this report. Now say suppose if I want sales analysis report, and select size of this text, font which you want, you can choose that. If you want the color, you can choose the colors. Red color, you know. You can pass the alignment. Now what I will do is we will keep like background color for this. So if we have this formatting section in the right hand side, so say background color will be my red color at the background. So if you have red color on the background and also the header in the red color, you will not get the header. So select the text. I'll try to format it in the white color. So we now have the header placed on our report. So basically while developing the report, we have again three panels. One is our filter panel, next is visualization panel, and third is fields panel. Field panel is nothing but you can use any field n number of time on multiple pages. There is no restriction. Visualization section, visualization panel is just for one report. One report in the sense, now say suppose if I want to build a bar graph on the basis of region wise sales. So I'll select the bar, say region wise sales. And if you can see, whatever the changes we are doing in this visualization, they will be captured in this visualization section. But if you again go and create new report, again that section will be blank. Firstly, you have to select the template and then you can pass the fields. Now say suppose I don't want to create the bar graph. Basically the first dashboard which we build in the organization is related to KPI. KPI is nothing but key performance indicators. To give an example of key performance indicator is, we will take an example of the college. Total number of students admitted in 2020. Total number of staff. Total number of departments in the college. Revenue generated. Profit for the current year. So these are nothing but the key fields of the college. Similarly, suppose if I want to identify the KPI for me, I will consider my SSC marks, HSC marks, diploma marks, engineering marks, MTech marks, MBA marks. These are the key performance indicator of myself. So basically in the organization, when we build the dashboard, firstly we have to highlight the key performance indicators, which will give your senior authority of the organization highlighters like how their company is performing in the market. So we have the same types of field in this data set as well. Like if you observe, we have sales, we have profit, quantity, customers, total number of orders. We have all these fields. Now say suppose if I want to highlight total sales, which has happened in this. So just select the KPI, that is card, and pass your field, that is sales. So it will show me the exact value, like total sales is 2.30 millions. That is near about 22 lakh around. If you want, you can show increase and decrease the font size. We have the formatting section here. Say data label, what the size you want to choose, you can choose the size. Then you have category, that is name, like what is this, sales or profit. If we disable that, we will not get that name, but we usually pass this as well. If you want to do the formatting of that, like font selection, size selection, you can pass that as well. Then we have, and if you want to pass the border to this, you can have border as well in the border section. Now second KPI is my total profit. Again, I'll take a new metric. Just pass your total profit. So the alignment should be same for each box. Height, width, and the spacing between all this. Next, I want total quantities which are sold. So I'll say quantity column. Then we have profit ratio as well. It is not there. Okay, we have customer names. We'll display the count of total customers who are buying the products from my side. Just spark customer name. But in the customer name, you will have the list of all the customers. So to count the total number of customers, we have to use count function. So this is the list of customers. Just go over here and you have the name of the customer. Right click on that and say count. So this will be your total customers. If you want to rename that field, you can rename. And again arrange that box. And next is your orders. Basically, I have excluded some of the fields in the data source. We will take all of them again. So I want to remove this condition. I want all the columns. Now we will have order number again. Say close and apply. I want to find out total number of orders placed. So we have order number column. Again, we have to check the box. Pass your order number. Now there will be multiple order numbers. So again, you have to take the count of that. So that will give you your total number of orders. And you can rename that to total orders. Whenever you will publish this report, the first thing is that we can track the important information related to our business in these 5 fields. Say suppose if my sale is raised to like 3 millions, automatically this field will get refreshed to 3 millions. Same for profit. If you reach to 50,000 quantities, automatically you will get a count of 50K over here. Says total customers. If you raise the number of customers, again the count will be increased. Same, the total orders count will also get increased. So generally the process is like we build the report once, but the data will refresh on the daily basis from the database. Then now say suppose if you want to build any visualizations, for visualizations we have visualization section over here, and we can choose any type of graph which we want. Now say suppose if I want the graph for top 5 customers, I will take the bar graph. Now which type of bar graph you want, either horizontal bar graph or vertical bar graph. We have the templates. Which graph you want to choose, you can choose the template according to that. Now say suppose I want to display the top 5 customers who are generating the maximum sales. So just pass customer name field to this report and the sales field. Now we will have 70, like 800 around customers, but I don't want the 800 customers to show in my report. I just want only top 5 customers. So we have the filter section. Just click on this customer names and say top 5 customers. Top n, select the top, pass the value and pass the field on which field you want to select this top 5 customers. Say apply. You will get only top 5 customers. Enable the data labels of that customers. Now you can do the formatting which you want. So now say suppose this is one of my report. These are my top 5 customers. If you want to change the header, go over here. You have title section, and in the title section we have to change the headers, like title of the report. I'll say top 5 customers. If you want to do the formatting again on these titles, So in the title section, you have everything like what the alignment which you want, color, font color which you want. You can select all this. If you want to change the color of the bar, you can do that as well. So we have data color section over here, and in the data color, we can pass any color. Like say suppose if you want the bars in the black color, red color, gray color, you can pass this. Basically, but in the real time, we generally use same font and same font colors. We don't use red color for the bar graph and for the KPI matrix green color. Basically, everything will be the same. Like formatting should be same for all the graphs. So now say suppose for this bar graph, I choose this color. But we have the capability if you want each bar in the different color, we have that capability as well in the Power BI. So in the data colors, we have show all section. Enable that radio button and you can select like say suppose for similar customer, I want blue color bar. For this customer, I want purple color bar. For Raymond, I want yellow color bar. You can choose different colors. For Tom, I want red color bar. So we can choose different colors for each section. If you want, you can pass the border as well. So in the border section, enable that. And you can select the thickness of the borders. Say suppose I want gray color border. Little bit I will increase the radius. And if you see, you have the border for the graph now. Similarly, like if I want to build any another report, like say if I want to see month-wise sales, then we can use line graph because generally for time series analysis, we use line graphs. So we have line graph section over here, use that. And you can pass the month field. Now in our database, we will not get the month field ready-made from the database because we already have ordered it. From this date, we have to capture our months. So for capturing the months, we have to write a custom calculation again. Go in this section, say new column. For generating the month's name, we have a format in the Power BI. Like says, I'll give the name as month name to the field. Format your date column. Just pass like in which format you want the month, either JAN or January full name. So I'll just say MMMM as a full name and close this function. So format function is used to give the month names from the date field. I'll just say okay. And this calculated column will get again reflected into the field section. Now we want the month-wise sales. So I'll select month name and I'll say sales. So if you see, it will give you month-wise sale. If you want to see month-wise profit as well, you can select profit. If you want to select quantity, you can select quantities also. Like we can pass multiple measures in this. But say suppose if I want to display only sales and profit, now we have the lines available in this graph, but we can format these lines into different shapes. Okay, so for doing that, we have to select that graph, go in the formatting section. If you want to enable the data labels, you can enable that. And you have this section as shapes. In these sections, we have joint type. Joint type is nothing but the combination of one point and another point. So I say I want it as round, but the line style will be dash line or dotted line. If you want, you can select that line. I'll say I want dash line. Then we have markers. Markers are nothing but the highlighters. Like we cannot identify what is the data for December. We have the x-axis field, but on the graph, if I want to point, so we can point the marks as well, say show marker, and they will give the markers in between these line graphs. We can choose the shapes of the markers, which type of shape we want. Now that one is round, that is bullet. If you want to give square, we can give squares. If you want to pass diamond, we can pass diamond. Like we have different like dash plus icons. I'll say I want diamond. I'll select the diamond as a mark. Again, if you want to give marker colors, you can give the marker colors. Then we have stepped lines as well in the Power BI. Now Tableau and ClickView, they both are missing this capability, that is step lines. Step lines are nothing but if we enable that, we can get the steps in the graph Like say suppose if it increase, we'll get the step of increasing. If it decrease, we'll get the decreasing step. Then we have customize series action as well. Customize series in the sense, now in this graph we have used multiple fields like sales and profit. Now whatever the changes we were doing till now, they were affecting to both this sales and profit. But say suppose if I want to apply different formatting for sales and different formatting for profit, we have to enable the series, select the sales, and you can take the action only on the sales. Say suppose if I don't want to show the markers on the sales, it will remove that markers. If you don't want the step on the sales, you can disable that. So individually as well on the each field we can do the formatting. So now this will be your another graph. We can again format the title sales and profit by month, but if I want it in the middle, say sales and profit by month, now we can adjust it accordingly, because generally on each page we should have like 4 to 5 different visualizations. Now say suppose if I want to see now see border is missing for this one, so we have to pass the border as well, because if we use border for any one visualization, we should apply it to all visualizations. Select the border color, select the radius. Okay, now we have two visualizations. Now say suppose if I want to see region wise sales, like how much percent of sales generated in each region. So we have region field, select the donut chart. You can choose any of the graph from this. I'll say I want to see region graph in donut, so I'll say donut chart. Pass your region field and then pass your sales. And now you can do the formatting for this graph as well. Now say suppose if you see we have the region names as a legend, like west region, east region, central region, south region, and the null regions are highlighted with the blank section. So we have different slices. Each slice is represented by one of the color. Now say suppose west region is highlighted by pink color. So in the legend, if you select west, it will highlight that specific section. And if you observe, the whole report is highlighting only for west region. Values are changing. Similarly for east region, the values are changing. Central region, accordingly all the graphs will take effect of this. If you want to do the formatting of this chart, you can go again in the formatting section. We have the detail label section. So now in this detail label section, we have different categories how to do the formatting of this graph. So first is like category. Category is nothing but the name of the regions. So say suppose if I want only category, we'll get only the name of the regions in the donut chart. If I say data value, that means you will get the values like 1 billion, 2 billion, 3 billion. Now you will see for the west region we have 725,000, 3.5 thousand. Similarly, if we want percentage, like which region has secured how much percent of sales from 100%. Say percent of total, you will get that sales value in the percentage again. Then we have combined like combination of category and data value. That means south, like region name comma value name. You get region name comma your value name. We have category comma percent of total. That is your region name comma percentage value. Can select that as well, and accordingly the graph will change. Then we have data value, that is your like original sales and percentage. You can select that as well. And we have all details label. All detail label is nothing but the combination of category plus data value plus percentage of total. If you enable that, you will get huge data now in this graph. Like if you say region name as well, that is category, then data value, that is your original sales, and percentage value as well. But in real time, we generally do like either category data value or either category percent of total. I want to keep it as category percent of total. We can keep that. Now again, you have to do the formatting of this graph. Go in the title section. You can choose formatting which you want. Say I want the alignment into middle. And now say suppose border is missing again. So go in the border section and enable the border for this graph. Select the color of the border, pass the radius. The donut chart alignment as well. So both of them should be in the same alignment. And now we have a section, we can add 2-3 visualizations here. So basically now I will try to plot table report. So this is an interesting one because it is used real time mostly in this. So we have table section. Generally table section is used for detail level analysis. Detail level analysis in the sense if I want to capture all the data which is available in the database, like this huge information if I want to see. We use generally table reports and we can pass all the fields which we want, like order number. Then we have customer number who purchased this order, state of the customer, from which state this order has been placed. We have state. We have the product names, which product the customer has bought. Then we have order date, on which date this product was ordered. So we'll say exact date. Why we are getting this blank values? Oh, we have the data. So I'll say descending order. Okay. Then if I want to pass like the sales of each order, profit of each order, sorry, quantity placed, basically the first will be your sales, next quantity, and then from this amount how much profit you gained. So you can select profit. Now you have the table report. Again, whatever the formatting you want, you can choose for this. If you want to enable the totals, you can enable the total. And now say suppose now your report is ready. Then the important section is filters. We cannot display as it is information to the users. Some of the users might be interested in this data, but if they don't want to see all the data, if they want to see the data only for 2016 year or 17 year or 18 year, we have the filter section. Now in filter section, we have 3 different types of filter. That is visualization based filter. Then we have page based filter and we have report level filter. Visualization filter is nothing but say suppose if I want to filter, apply a filter only on the single visualization, that is sales and profit by month. We have to select that and we can say if I want to see only April and August data, we can select that. So we can pass individuals filter as well. But say suppose if you want to apply a common filter for all this section, we have page level filter. Now say suppose I have order date filter on this report. I'm going to pass the range. If I want to see the data starting from 1 April 2015 to 15th August 2016 only, so we can pass the filters accordingly, like my date should be on or after 1 April, that is 4,1 2016, and till 15th August 2017, so say on or before August 15 2017. And if you say apply, all the data will get filtered according to this common filter. Then we have filter on all pages. Filter on all pages is nothing but say suppose if you have developed 10 pages and if you want to use one filter on all these 10 pages, like that, it can be a combination of 100 visualizations as well. So for this kind of things, we can pass our filter field into this filter on all pages. And now say suppose if I say central region over here, again your data will get filtered for central region only. And if you create any new page, that filter will be applicable to all. Same like in Java programming language, with C, C++, we declare global variable. If we want to access that variable out of the classes or in the any functions, we can pass global variables. Similarly, we have global filtering capability as well. Now say suppose this is one of my dashboard, which I have developed, the sample data analysis. And the last thing is to deploy this dashboard on the server. For the server capability, first of all, we have to save the report. Go in the file section, say save as, and I'll say sales overview analysis report. Save. Once the file is saved, we have a publish button available over here. Click on that publish, and now it will ask you to log in. Now you should have the licenses. Might be you guys might not have because this is Power BI is free only for organization account. try to log in from my organization account. Once you log in successfully, it will ask you for the OTP. Like if any security is implemented in between, it says 021460. Let's verify. So before publishing the report, it will ask you to sign in each and every time. It is giving me an error message. We'll try to publish again. Yes. Now the first thing is to select a destination. Destination is nothing but, now say suppose if you are working on your laptop and you are had like, you might be having like movies, songs in your system. So what do? You organize that into different folders. Similarly, now say suppose on my desktop I have different folders for each and everything. Similarly, we have to create the workspaces in the servers to publish these reports. So now if you want to create the workspaces, what you want to do is go on the server. Now this is our organizational server actually. And here you can create the folder, that is create a workspace. Say create a workspace. You can pass the name of this workspace and say save. So if you create the workspace, in the workspaces section, you will get the list of all these workspaces. These workspaces are nothing but the folders, we can call it as. And inside these workspaces, we can publish our reports. Now say suppose I have my internal workspace, that is my workspace. I want to publish this report into this section. Say my workspace and say select. Now it will deploy a report from your desktop to server. Once it is done, say got it, go on the server and just refresh the server once. Once you refresh, in the report section, you can search your file, that is sales overview analysis, which we publish now. Now in the report section, you will get the report and the data on which we have built this report in, that will you will get it into dataset section. So that is sales overview analysis. So in the real times, we generally pass the schedules. Schedules are nothing but like say suppose if I want to wake up early in the morning, we can pass the alarm to the mobiles. Similarly, if we want to refresh the data at any specific time at midnight or any daytime, we can set the schedules. So we have that capability in the settings section. That is schedule refresh. And say suppose if you want to enable any schedule, you can pass the schedule from this. And Power BI will automatically refresh the data from the database at that specific schedule. Now, the report which you have built, you can see that report on the screen. That is your sales overview analysis. And if you see the report which you have built, you will get that report loaded on the servers. You can preview it. And if you want to apply any filters, you can apply the filters as well from here. Now, say suppose if I want to share this report with my end users. Now, if we see the architecture again, we have completed with two initial stages, that is loading the data from the database, developing the report, and sending the report on the server. Now we already have our report on the server. Now we can do all the administration activities. Like say suppose if I want to send this report to any specific user, we can say share and we can pass the mail ID of this user. Now I cannot send this report on the Gmail or Yahoo because this is configured for Active Directories. Active Directories are nothing but the employee information. Say suppose if I want to pass this report to any of my colleagues, say suppose Ashish Agrawal, I can pass his mail ID and say share. So suppose if I want to pass this report with another user like Vinay, I can say select. If you want to include any message like we are writing in the email, hi Vinay, please find the sales app report. Thanks. And write same email body here as well. And if you want to copy the report link, you can copy from here. Let's say share. Click on share. From his side, he will get an email that Sagar has shared you one of the report, and he will get the link in his mail body to open this report. So this is the general understanding, like loading the data, developing the data, and publishing the reports which we develop. So this is all from my side. If you have any questions, you can ask me. Do you have any questions? Sir, madam.
Yes, student, if you are having any question, then unmute and ask to Sagar sir. Otherwise, you can type in chat box. Okay, fine. I wish to express my gratitude to Mr. Sagar Boriste sir for sharing his knowledge and hands-on session on Power BI. And then he shared his knowledge about how to design the dashboard and how to deploy that report on the server. We are all inspired by your great words, sir. I also extend my thanks to our principal, vice principal, and head of the department for their cooperation in the organization of this event. Once again, I would like to say thanks to Sagar Buruste, sir.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. If you guys have any questions, you can get back to ma'am and madam will coordinate with me accordingly. Okay. Thank you all. Bye.